this is an election about big things. Yes, it's an election about an economy that is sick. Yes, it's an election about jobs that are not being created. Yes, this is an election about government debt and deficits that are choking this country. Yes, it's an election about the size and growth of government that is crushing American business and crushing your freedoms. Yes, this is an election about a president who is allowing things to occur in the world almost apathetically to rally forces that have been out there over the last few decades that want to do harm to America. And we had the audacity of calling it an Arab Spring. And what we see now is that Arab Spring is an icy, cold winter of radical Islamists. We hear much now about the hostages being held in Egypt. A year ago, would we even thought about that? No. A year ago, we didn't have radical Islamists in control of Egypt. And we had a president of the United States, not only did he sit by and do nothing, but he sat by and encouraged the radical Islamists to oppose an ally of the United States and the state of Israel. And now those radical Islamists are imposing Sharia law. These radical Islamists are holding Americans hostages. And it's not just there, but it's in Iran. Yes, they're holding hostages in Iran to Americans. And they are building a nuclear weapon. And the president reluctantly fights with Congress just to do the minimum to try to slow them down. And then we see in Syria, the only reason the president of the United States withdraws our embassy from Syria, which he was the one that put in place to reward the thug Bashar Assad and his reign of terror over the people of Syria. We rewarded him by putting an embassy there. And the only reason we removed it is because they wouldn't guarantee the safety of the embassy, not because we wanted to pull it out as a sign of lack of support for this thug. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a president of the United States that on every single count, and I haven't mentioned the one, is slow dissemination of freedom of religion, freedom of conscience, standing up and talking about abortion as if it was something that denied that having life and being pregnant was something that would deny people their dreams. This callousness toward life and family and faith and even open hostility. This is the president of the United States today. This is the president who has a fundamentally different view of America than what made America the greatest country in the history of the world. That's why this election is so important. This is how the president acts when he's still up and subject to re-election. He still has to take political considerations into consideration. Imagine a President Obama with 4 years and no one to be accountable to. Imagine what he could do. Imagine what damage and destruction he could do internationally to our friend Israel, who stands and pleads with us to help. And what do? We send out the Secretary of Defense to tell the world that Israel is planning attacks and then condemns them and invites the rest of the world to do likewise. We have a President of the United States who already has successfit taken over the healthcare system in this country. And one of the things I talk about all the time, I wouldn't be in this race if it wasn't for Obamacare. If it wasn't for the fact that we have a system in place right now in America that is going to dictate to you your economic choices when it comes to health care. It's going to take away your freedom. It's going to tell you what health care plan you're going to have, how much you're going to pay, how much your employer is going to pay, what doctors you're going to be able to go to, what the limits in your insurance are. All of these things are now going to be dictated by the federal government, not by you, not by any choices. You're going to have that mandated to you. And that was one of the reasons that got me in the race, but there was actually more. I talked about this being a freedom issue. But the one I knew of, people would understand, is the freedom to be able to interchange with the healthcare system the way you want it. But now we see that it's more than that, isn't it? If the government says they're going to give you a right, they can then tell you how to exercise that right. You see, our founders believed